Remember, remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
John V. Revolutionary and Guy Fawkes cosplayer. This anonymous anarchist aligned himself against a fascist autocracy in the name of justice, liberty, and style, blowing up Parliament in the process. But could he afford to do so? Hello, and welcome to Foot the Bill, where we audit your favorite media. My name is Trey, and today we're looking at V for Vendetta. The movie that definitely didn't radicalize me. Nope, nuh-uh. I remember seeing this movie in theaters, and the way it transformed pop culture around it is groundbreaking. It's impossible to not have an opinion on the Guy Fawkes mask now, for better or worse. But we're not here to talk about that. No. We're here to talk about V's budget. And to do that, we need to talk about the rules.
You might want to tell the kids the rules before we start.
No utilities get charged for. If it can be scavenged from local resources, it's not an expense, it's foraging. Finally, all purchases are calculated in the year depicted on screen. V for Vendetta never explicitly tells us what year it takes place in, but Redditor-based Somic broke it down in a format that would make CZ's world proud. In-universe evidence strongly suggests that V for Vendetta takes place in 2025. Yes, that 2025. A culturally and economically isolated United Kingdom grappling with rising totalitarian surveillance, ethnocentric policies, and vague references to the United States in the grips of a civil war and rampant disease. It's totally unrelatable, right? We'll be calculating all purchases in Great British pounds, not to be confused with American pounds, which are more like British stone, not to be confused with Stone Cold Steve Austin, who is in fact from Austin, Texas. What was I talking about? Oh, right. Everything will be in British money with equivalent freedom dollars displayed as relevant. So, can this revolutionary afford a fiduciary? Or does V vault his valuables in pursuit of victorious, vicious, vicarious justice? Let's find out. The movie opens to a poem and a history lesson about the 5th of November and its gunpowder plot. Guy Fawkes. Guy, that's Guy, tried to blow up Parliament 400 years ago and got caught. I think he'll be never mind. Fawkes' feet light a fire on screen and we're whisked away to a nightly news with Lewis Prothero. Lewis, that's Lewis, is the fart of London. Sorry, I'm being informed that's actually pronounced voice of London. Apparently America isn't doing well and England is laughing. Across town, Evie Hammond, that's Evie, is getting dressed up for a night out. Only problem would be the curfew and the surveillance. Oh, and the secret police called...
I've got your finger, man.
Oh, ew.
Oh, she's getting a picture.
Oh, ew. The finger guys continue to harass Evie when suddenly a visage appears at the end of the alley and he's rather verbose. Oh, and he kicks the ever-living shit out of the fingerings. Ugh. Patreon will get the full cut of this speech, but you can enjoy what YouTube will allow us to play.
In view, a humble vaudevillian veteran, cast vicariously as both victim and villain by the vicissitudes of fate. This visage, no mere veneer of vanity, is a vestige of the vox populi, now vacant, vanished. However, this valorous visitation of a bygone vexation stands vivified, and has vowed to vanquish these venal and virulent vermin, vanguarding vice and vouchsafing the violently vicious and voracious violation of volition. The only verdict is vengeance, a vendetta, held as a votive not in vain, for the value and veracity of such shall one day vindicate the vigilant and the virtuous. Verily, this vichyssoise of verbiage veers most verbose, so let me simply add that it's my very good honor to meet you, and you may call me V.
Great! V, that's V, is our titular vendettist. And the first thing to calculate is his drip. Let's start with the mask. Behind the scenes notation and prop analysis determines the mask to be fiberglass, so we can charge for the materials. Next up is that wig, and gang, I gotta say, that wig is top notch. V does not skimp on his threads, particularly the ones on his head. But speaking of threads, there's been some debate in the cosplay community as to what V's wearing, but I think I figured it out. Some argue it's a doublet, others some kind of wool armor. Weird. And they're close, but they're wrong! V's entire getup is actually fencing gear. The tunic, the boots, the gloves, the daggers. A girl gets a hobby and everyone loses their damn mind. But seriously, that's a silk fencing doublet as noted for having a particularly high collar. Those boots could be fencing boots, but I'll charge for some simple cavalry boots. It's fine. The gloves, leather, are also for fencing. The belt isn't explicitly for fencing, but it is leather. And his daggers are certainly parrying daggers used for, you guessed it, fencing. Give this lad a stick and he will show you how to shake and poke. Wow. Rounding out our dark pilgrim is a really neat hat and a rather nice cloak. Swell! Can't deny, V's got one hell of a silhouette.
Voila!
V invites Evie to a rooftop concert because he's a millennial, and she awkwardly agrees because she knows how millennials are. However, up on the rooftop, click, 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 V reveals he's not just into classical, he's into rock and roll. I call this first date. Voila! Ignore registered trademarks as unethically egregious. Violent, inexpensive concussions triumph over riotous, illegal, unethical systems. Or virtue, victorious. So we've got V hacking the emergency broadcast system. The comics reveal that he had hacked in prior, good for him. We'll charge for a computer, which, can do that, as well as a CD of his anthem, Tchaikovsky's Overture of 1812. Gotta love a song with cannons. Speaking of cannons, the Old Bailey is blowing up. I count 12 booms throughout the building, plus some very spectacular fireworks. Spoilers, but later on in the film it's revealed that V's utilizing fertilizer bombs, similar to what we saw in The Batman when the green meanie took a bite out of the seawall. You remember that? You don't remember that? Go watch that. I'll make no changes to the formula, but I will be charging in British supplies. 12 booms worth of bombs in the UK amounts to a little over $2,000 for the Old Bailey's Whaleys. Sorry, Lady Justice. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Injustice, the Legion of Doom are meeting to figure out who blew up an empty building in the middle of the night. Mr. Bighead on screen is actually High Chancellor Adam Sutler. Adam, no, not that Adam, we should probably just call him Sutler, is feeling a little, shall we say, teed off. Pardon my French. Also, his eyes are incredibly dilated. Holy shit, this dude is cracked out. His goon squad of party officials are, in no particular order, but this is the order I'll give them: Brian Etheridge, head of listening to people; Conrad Hayer, head of watching people; Roger Dascom, head of lying to people; Peter Creedy, head of secret police; and finally, Eric Finch, head of not secret police. Peter confirms the site has been secured and all appropriate witnesses detained. Actually, they might have been fingered too. Ugh. Brian informs us that V wired into the music into the emergency broadcast system with a CD of the 1812 Overture. The song is summarily banned from being played ever again. Spoiler alert, it gets played a couple more times. Roger is already planning to spin the explosions as an emergency demolition with some added flair. Conrad confirms they got footage of V, but given what he looks like, well, it's a bit hard to ID him at the moment. The girl, however, is under investigation by Eric. Eric also confirms that the bombs and fireworks used were homemade with easily purchasable ingredients, making tracing their construction particularly difficult. Assuming you're not buying thousands of pounds worth of materials, that is. That's pounds by weight, not pounds by, well, actually I guess it is pounds by weight and currency, huh? The village council end their meeting, and we're whisked away to Fox News headquarters. Roger, you remember Roger, we were just talking to him, is shaping the news about the musical explosion last night.
Our job is to report the news, not fabricate it. That's the government's job.
Saying the quiet part quietly. All right. Oh, hey, it's Evie. What is she, journalist, reporter, meteorologist? Nope, she's a tea girl. It's the British version of a coffee girl. And she stood up tea with Gordon, that's Gordon, late last night. Gordon's something of a Stephen Colbert in this dismal fascistic world. It's incredible the network even allows that. You'd think a guy like this would be fired for some of the jokes he's making. Elsewhere, head of Public Security Section 9 Eric is snooping around Evie's apartment with his partner Dominic, who I will call Dom for reasons. Is this even an apartment? Looks like a bedroom. I mean, I've seen efficiencies, but like, where does she, you know what? Never mind, don't need to know. Over on the vanity, we can see Evie's expired ID, huzzah! And these two knuckleheads run back over to the TV station, where a whole bunch of packages just arrived. That means Evie's been promoted from T-girl to accomplice. Ruh-roh. I call this social experiment villainy ingested, entertainment wasted. Eyes realize something here is perjurous, or viewership. All right, let's go. Charge for 10 boxes, same day delivery. Inside those boxes are some very familiar vestments, a wig, this time cheaper, a cloak for mystery, and a vacuum formed Guy Fawkes mask. I went with a cheaper plastic alternative because that's what the prop department did, and because it's easier to mass produce. This is a small batch, so I'm willing to bet the sender made these in-house. As such, we can charge for the materials to build a vacuum form. It's actually pretty easy to do with a heater and a vacuum. I think Adam Savage has a tutorial on it. Go check that out. Evie, now rethinking her career options, is revealed to be the bearer of generational political trauma. Her parents were activists who were black-bagged by the government after her brother died in a terrible bioterrorist attack when they were kids. Based on this rap sheet, it looks like she's inclined to agree with our vaudevillian terrorist. Speaking of, where is that guy? Oh, good, he made it. And he's got a vest. Okay, ho ho. Oh dear. The cops arrive, but V's got the station under his thumb. His very explosive thumb, which is now armed with a, what the fuck? V whips out some sort of Batman utility door jammer and caulks the door shut? Okay, let's break this down frame by frame. He presses the barrel against the door, which causes it to retract slightly. Then a metal rod pierces the door. Now, the rod itself is perforated, and when fully inserted into the door, it floods the space with some sort of epoxy. Whether that's JB Weld or plastic steel, it jams the door and affixes it to the frame. Fascinating, and definitely homemade. In the real world, this type of material would require more than a few minutes and up to a few hours to set properly, but movie time dilation, am I right? The rest of the gun consists of a cordless caulking gun with a piston injector and some housing to keep it all together. In the studio, the fire alarm's been pulled, and so has the feed. Televisions all over London, possibly the whole of England, are static while V holds the broadcast room hostage. The execs look stuffed, the assistant looks chuffed, and V hands them a mini DVD to play. From static to fantastic, a picture appears. V addressing the nation. And he's pissed in his own way.
Those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there?
V regales how the nation has slid comfortably into bed with fascism. And he understands. We were scared, we were confused, we were taken advantage of. But still, we let it happen. And we've continued to let it happen, piece by piece, inch by inch.
If you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror.
V goes on to take credit for destroying the Old Bailey, a previously perverted symbol of justice. And he's not done there. Oh, no. V offers a challenge. If you vibe with his jive and are down with his sickness, then 1 year from today, march with him on Parliament. Demand and witness change enacted.
And together we shall give them a 5th of November that shall never, ever be forgot.
Charge for some mini DVDs, a camera, V's set decor, including that pen, and a computer for editing his vlog together. Could be the same computer he used to hack. The police burst into the studio, guns wild and cameras rolling. The state intends to turn this into a show. There he is! Get him! Oop, maybe not. But what's this? V's multiplied! Oh, wait, right, it's the costumes. That makes sense. Man, sex for that guy. Hope he wasn't important. The hostages are escorted out of the room slowly while Roger, you remember Roger, gets to work defusing a bomb, which is apparently a thing he can do. Add a small breadboard and some housing to the bomb mechanics, and I think we're good, yeah. Ah, come on, guy. Look, we're all in a hurry to evacuate the building, but you don't have to be a klutz about it, jeez. Oh, wait, that's no klutz. That's V. And he's armed! With skills to pay the bills. I'll leave this bloody montage to dead meat. Let's get back to that bomb. Oh, shit, Roger stopped the bomb. Well, that was anticlimactic. Oh, shit, Dom! You remember Dom. Caught up to V! Well, that's it, wrap it up. You know how this— Oh my god, it's Evie with the pepper spray! Dom knocks her out and V knocks him out. Oh my god, it's concussive dominoes. V leers over Evie's unconscious body like he's contemplating eating her. Don't do it, V! V, she's British. She lacks the necessary daily nutritional value. Plus, I don't mean to be unkind, but I don't think you can move your mouth. I mean, you know Billy the Puppet. Although not unlike John Kramer, V has now kidnapped a woman. The killer digs are V's shadow gallery, and it's absolutely stuffed with pirated materials. Hey, if buying isn't ownership, then piracy isn't stealership. Wait, hang on, there's a great joke here. Let me think. Yes. What did the pirate do with all his extra boats? He opened a stealership. Oh my God, I'm a genius. Oh. Anyway, V says that, you know, he didn't really want to kidnap Evie, but he had to because she made herself an accomplice and he just couldn't let anything bad happen to her. But don't worry, you don't have to stay long, just a year. At least there's plenty of things to read. V treats Evie to some brekkie. Even the butter is pirated, damn. Evie takes the opportunity to drill down into V's plans.
You really think the blowing up Parliament's going to make this country a better place?
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
Huh. Which I guess makes Lewis, you remember Lewis, we called him a fart at the beginning of the video, something of a government right now.
Holy Christ!
The tax man has come, Mr. Fart. Let's call this evening Voices Ignite Tension. Righteous injustices or obvious lies? Or vitriol? Now, what we're looking at here is rather simple. V, Master of Entry, used Evie's badge to gain access to Lewis's, shower room, and apparently half of a CVS pharmacy. Oh my God, I think I found everybody's ADHD medication. V then turns Lewis down for what? With that what being a concoction of homemade poisons, as confirmed a little later in the film.
You could get these poisons from any house in London.
Hard to trace, easy to formulate. Excellent. V also leaves behind what the movie calls a scarlet carson, a flower thought to be extinct but very clearly blooming like an onion at Outback Steakhouse. Outback Steakhouse, have you had your diarrhea today? In the comic, V is handing out violet carsons, a very real hybrid rose that is very really not extinct. But on screen, this flower is portrayed by a Grand Prix rose, which is also not extinct. Spoiler alert, but V has a little hydroponics garden featured a bit later in the film, which we can charge for here. Now, harder to suss out is the process by which one obtains extinct flowers to cultivate. I mean, if you've got seeds and time, you can make anything grow. So I'll just say this, V could have access to said seeds, which we'll discuss later. So for now, we'll charge for the hydroponics bay. It's got a few more roses to hand out after all. After V silences the voice of London, Evie wakes to find V fencing with a suit of armor. I told you he was into fencing. The whole getup, fencing. Probably the hat too. After watching a movie about tree houses,
You find your own tree.
Evie asks if V stole her ID. He counters by suggesting that they need to go to church. I think it's been a while since Evie's been to church because I would not call that your Sunday best. Although Bishop Anthony, that's Anthony, doesn't seem too bothered.
Mea culpa, my child. Mea culpa.
Gross. I call this justified moment, verily. Evie's suit tempts men, especially nutters that sin. Or vestments. Let's charge for Evie's costume because ain't no way she brought that from home. Which means V totally bought it for her. I guess Anthony could have bought it, but I'd much rather imagine V walking into a shop to pick that up, wouldn't you? Evie decides she wants nothing to do with this game anymore, can't blame her, and V finishes the job with another poison and another scarlet carson.
Try the priest.
Priest. Hey, wait, where'd Evie go? Oh, she finally made it to her date. Gordon, you remember Gordon, ushers her in. She has been missing for a few days at this point, so makes sense. Evie apologizes for putting Gordon out like this, her being a wanted criminal and all, and Gordon assures her that he's quite the degenerate himself. He's even got his own shadow gallery. Oh, neat! Though it's sad to see Gordon have to shy away his true self, his opinions, because of an authoritarian government. Gordon reveals to Evie that he's just not that into her, but because of his position, he's expected to entertain young, attractive women.
You wear a mask for so long, you forget who you were beneath it.
Damn. No wonder he's in comedy. Elsewhere, we catch up with Eric, you remember Eric, who's been hot on the trail of V's spree. Yes, he's been to every crime scene. The news station, Lewis, Anthony. Now he's down in the coroner's office talking to Delia Surridge, the coroner. Delia, that's Delia, studied as a botanist before becoming a dead bodyist, and identifies the rose as a scarlet carson. She gets kinda moody and distant, and I think I know why. You see, While V and Evie have been doing this little deadly dance around downtown, Eric's been piecing together their pasts. Evie has been pretty easy to suss out. Her parents were radicals because they didn't like fascism. Go figure. They got stolen by the government. Go figure. Her brother died in a bioterrorist attack. Ew. And Evie was raised in isolation by government juvenile detention facilities. Fun. V, meanwhile, remains a mystery, but his targets are starting to show links. Every single one of them worked at a detention facility called Lark Hill. And now all of Lark Hill's former Anglican Gestapo are pushing daisies, or in this case, roses. Lewis was commandant. Anthony was the head of moral standards. Yes, it seems our political terrorist is making things personal. But deets on Lark Hill are hard to come by, and Eric is feeling the pressure to drop the case entirely and just focus on catching V. Well, maybe Delia has an idea. She is V's next target after all. Spooky. Delia is super sorry for being an evil scientist and using V and other citizens to develop the St. Mary's virus that was used as a weapon against English citizens to justify the rise of fascism.
I've not come for what you hoped to do. I've come for what you did.
And asks if it's too late for forgiveness.
Is it meaningless to apologize?
Never.
I'm so sorry.
I call this little ditty vibrant innocence, rockets, unethical sciences, or virus. By the time Eric arrives, Delia is dead. Bye, Delia. But she's left behind her journal. She details how the detention center was used to conduct medical experiments on political dissidents, and one of the only successful survivors of said trials being an unknown man, Subject 5, or as his door says, V. Of course, just as things were getting promising, it all blew up in their faces, literally. And thus, V was born rosy, pink, and red, and burned, and eyeless, maybe?
There were no eyes.
Oh, British Daredevil, isn't it? Raw indeed, buddy. Raw indeed. The next day, or night, Gordon, you remember Gordon, cooks up an Eggy in the basket for Evie and confesses to be V. He also confesses to committing career suicide with tonight's episode of his show, in which V taunts Chancellor Sutler, is revealed to be Chancellor Sutler, and then the two of them are executed via firing squad live on TV. Also, there's a gorilla, because it wouldn't be British television without a gorilla. Unfortunately, it also wouldn't be British television without somebody getting very upset over spilt milk.
Quickly, hide!
And sending in a police squad. Oh my God, it's Peter Creedy, finger manager.
Not so funny now, is it? Funny man.
Oh, he's got the jokes, huh? Okay, he got the jokes, yeah. Evie avoids getting snatched and hops out the window, where she is summarily snatched.
Gotcha.
Evie is black-bagged, gagged and dragged, taken deep underground to a detention center not unlike the one that V and her parents were held in. She's questioned for hours before being shaved, showered, and summarily tossed in a concrete cell. Of course, she could get out. All she needs to do is confess. Give them something about V, anything. But she won't, or can't. She's left cold, helpless on the ground, fed meals that even the rats won't touch. Days, weeks pass, it's hard to say. Every day, a plate of food. Every day, questions, interrogation. Every day, she hardens a little more until she hears something new. A scratching of paper. In a hole in a wall, Evie finds a story. It's the life story of Valerie, another inmate, shaky handwriting on a roll of single-ply toilet paper, which is impressive because I do not see any TP in Evie's cell. Ew. She finally has a toilet. Valerie talks about her life, growing up a lesbian, getting kicked out of her home when she came out, finding work as an actress, finding the love of her life in the process, growing Scarlett Carsons in the window. Then she saw the world fall apart, chaos, fear, control, oppression, becoming labeled the enemy just for living the way she does. Not in anyone's way, just existing.
I remember how the meaning of words began to change. I remember how different became dangerous.
Eventually, her wife was taken, and when they came for Valerie, she was ready. She had nothing left to lose. Nothing but an inch. This last inch. And they can never take that from her, or from Evie, or from you.
An inch. It is small, and it is fragile, and it is the only thing in the world worth having. We must never lose it or give it away. We must never let them take it from us. I hope that whoever you are, you escape this place. I hope that the world turns and that things get better. But what I hope most of all is that you understand what I mean when I tell you that even though I do not know you, and even though I may never meet you, laugh with you, cry with you, or kiss you, I love you. With all my heart, I love you.
With that final goodbye, Evie has resigned her fate. She will keep her inch. She has been sentenced to execution unless she cooperates.
Are you ready to cooperate?
No.
Evie is set to be taken out behind the chemical sheds and shot. Unless she'd be willing to have her sentence commuted and read Sonic the Hedgehog fanfiction to a live audience.
But I'd rather die behind the chemical sheds.
Damn, girl, okay. Whew. The guard doesn't drag her out of her cell, instead saying something super cryptic about fear and freedom.
Then you have no fear anymore. You're completely free.
Which, you know, admittedly is a bit weird. I think Evie's picked up on that as well. She leans out of the doorway like I'm supposed to do in horror games, but never do because I get too scared and I forget I have that mechanic. Spying the armed guard at the end of the hall. Only, hang on a minute, that's no guard. Oh my God, it's a mannequin! I hate those things! Wait, Evie stumbles forward into a familiar room. Standing in the center of the room is V? He was behind all of this? What? Every part of it? What an Well, wait, so that means the whole dungeon, the torture, and all the... Oh, God damn it, it's Saw 3 all over again, son of a... The Fingerman uniform V wears when he first snatches Evie can be assumed to be stolen. I have no doubt this guy has been beating up Fingerman for a while. However, I will charge for that black bag because I am spiteful. Entering the interrogation room, we can charge V for the table, lamps, and chairs, as well as his first of several costume changes. We've got a wig, we've got some prosthetics, we've got a decent suit. Very nice. Moving on to the processing room, we can charge for a stool, some clippers, Evie's tunic, V's white smock, a box of nitrile gloves, another wig probably, and some prosthetics or a mask of some sort. Moving on to Evie's cell. That door is expensive. No getting around that. It's heavy, it makes heavy sounds, you get it. Next up, that toilet. This was actually really tough to track down. That toilet is the kind of toilet that you find in correctional facilities, but pricing is kept mum for some reason. I guess so taxpayers don't find out how much money is being spent on prison toilets. Anyway, that particular model goes for a little over 800 pounds, or $1,100 US. At this point, I am beginning to rethink the meaning of luxury. V also has a costume change or two when dealing with Evie, so charge for another suit, wig, prosthetics, some leather gloves, different gloves from what he wears when he's Ving around town, by the way. Finally, we get to the hallway outside of Evie's cell, which has been painstakingly modeled to resemble a detention center. Charge for the mannequin because V does not own a mannequin factory, as well as charge for that uniform and the H&K MP5A3 slung over it. This is the same model weapon handled by Fingerman, but fuck you, V, I'm putting it on the bill. Oh, and also charge for a whole bunch of construction materials to turn this home into a dungeon into a home. Good? Great. Got it? Awesome. I call this Voices Incite Constitution. This inch is mine. Or victim, because Evie is absolutely a victim of V's very strange indoctrination tactics. Let's see how they turned out. Evie has a panic attack. V takes her outside for some air. Evie screams at God, and yep, she's been radicalized. I can't say this is exactly how it goes, but that's what happens when you try to paint with all the colors of the wind. Evie returns Val's story to V, assuming that he wrote it, when he reveals that, oh no, Valerie was real, like really real, and V's a fan. Got a little shrine and all. Oh hey, there's the hydroponic system. Nice. Evie decides to leave and friend zones V on the way out, and V takes it really, really well. Elsewhere, Eric is continuing to try to track down V and his relationship to Lark Hill while still dodging the ever-paranoid eye of his own government. Seems like Sutler is getting a bit impatient and demands his propaganda machines break down the levees holding back the fear of annihilation.
I want everyone to remember why they need us.
And indeed, those floodgates open. News of America's ongoing civil war, new cases of sickness from the aforementioned bioterrorist attack. Just a wall of bad news to keep citizens cooped up and afraid to protest. Hell, they even try to pin the St. Mary's virus on V. Well, that's just salt in the wound. But Eric won't be stopped. And it's a good thing too. Someone from Lark Hill emailed him, a Rookwood who worked there. While all of his coworkers vanished or fell into graves, he stayed low enough to wait for someone to start to hit back. Rookwood meets with Eric and Dom. Oh yeah, Dom's been there the whole time. And the three sit down to a little chat. Rookwood doesn't seem too paranoid though. Oh, wait, he's pulled out a microphone jammer. Okay, this might be a little paranoid. That's fine.
That's close enough, Inspector.
Damn, this guy's voice sounds familiar. Anyway, Rookwood gives Eric the lowdown. The inspector has all the pieces, he just hasn't put them in the right order. And Rookwood will do just that. He spells it out, that Sutler organized a group of well-positioned, morally reprehensible people into positions of power to create a disaster that would allow for the unrivaled takeover of a country, weaponizing fear and selling a cure.
Imagine a virus, the most terrifying virus you can, and then imagine that you and you alone have the cure.
But who put it to use? Well, that's easy. Peter. You remember Peter, the chicken finger licker? Yeah, that guy. He's the one who suggests that using a virus on 3 targets, a water treatment plant, a subway, and a fucking school. Dude, with the population sufficiently scared, what more do they need to do but commit a seizure of power, strangle democracy into a corner, and relish in their ability to terrorize and control?
The rest, as they say, is history.
It's almost too perfect, which is why Rookwood won't give them a confession on tape. Not yet. He needs something first. He wants Peter Creedy surveilled. He can't confess into a black bag, after all.
Put Creedy under 24-hour surveillance. When I feel safe that he can't pick his nose without you knowing, I'll contact you again.
Which, yeah. Everyone hates Peter Finger Eater. Squash that bug under a microscope. Jeez, what a creep. Who gardens in the dark? Oh, it's orchids. That makes sense. I can never figure out how to... Ah! It's V! V offers Creedy a deal. You see, when Parliament blows up, Sutler will want to have someone hanged. And who better to sacrifice than the guy that everyone hates? That guy being you, Peter. You finger-obsessed creature. So V offers Mr. Fingerling a deal.
What do you want?
Sutler.
That's a pretty simple exchange, really. Wait, is that chalk? Bill it! And what, pray tell, does Pete get? Why, he gets V. Huh. Actually, this kind of reminds me of the exchange Rookwood set up with Eric in the...
William Rookwood is dead.
I'd say so. 20 years now.
Again with this? Ah, Rookwood wasn't Rookwood, it was V! Again! In disguise! Again! Son of a... V's Rookwood costume consists of a wig, glasses, beard, false nose and cheeks, a hat, a coat, we'll say a reused suit, a cane, a rather nice bag, and one of those mic blockers, which is actually a booklight you'd get when you purchased a Snuggie back in the day. Lovely. Since that mic blocker is government issue, I'm going to presume it's also stolen. And before you think I'm undercharging V, don't worry, because he's got a whole room dedicated to disguises!
Am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
He's a master of disguise. We've got, by my count, 19 mustaches, a set of sideburns, 3 distinct beards, a goatee, a mirror, a lamp, 7 wig stands, and 6 wigs. I call this nonsense V. Another guy, actually. Bro only knows disguises. Or vagabond, which he is. Sneaky little lark. What a joker, what a thief. Ugh, no more ridiculous expenses, V. Come on, please. I don't think we could take it. As the 5th draws near, the pressure is rising in London. V, meanwhile, is... What is this? Is this supposed to be some sort of montage of dominoes? V, no, please. God, no, stop spending money, V. There is no more money, V. Come on. What? Trains? No! V, please, I'm begging you. Oh God, trucks full of packages, V. Please, think of the children. Does every single one of those boxes contain a mask, a wig, a hat, and a cloak? No, 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 no! First, we need to get an idea of how many dominoes V is placing down for his big logo. Behind the scenes details tell us that set designers used 22,000 dominoes for this scene. I sourced these dominoes from a UK supplier and believe they'll do the job quite nicely. Not so bad. Next, we need to calculate the number of costumes V sends out. Luckily, we can get bulk prices for boxes they arrive in, but we need to understand how many boxes V requires. Now, based on shots throughout these final sequences, I'm putting the tally at 500,000 costumes. What concludes such a number? Well, they actually tell us, don't they?
How many went out?
So far we count 8 boxcars, several 100,000 at least.
Now, several is vague. It's somewhere between 3 and 7. So, 5. That's 500,000 wigs, masks, cloaks, and hats. Oh boy. Okay, now we have to deal with freight shipping because, hey, guess what? At this scale, that's a thing. Then there's handling costs. Oh my God. Oh, V, you cannot be serious. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. Spend it. Spend it all. Revolutions are so expensive, y'all. At least the good-looking ones are. Eventually, Eric predicts that with so much pressure on the country, something stupid will happen. And stupid it does! A finger guy shoots a kid in one of V's masks, whereupon he is bludgeoned to death by an angry mob. Riots break out across London, and Sutler has but one guy to blame, Pete.
I am holding you personally responsible for this situation.
Oh, he's fingered you for the blame, Petey. Peter Fingernailer. But it's too late. Everything's exactly where V wants it. Not long after, Evie drops by for a dance, like she promised, and V is overcome with joy.
Revolution without dancing is a revolution not worth having.
Damn, dancing's so good, Evie tries to leave the friend zone, but this time it's V who shuts her down.
There is a face beneath this mask, but it's not me.
But he won't put her out completely. He has a gift for her. Oh my God, y'all. He got her a subway train. Ladies, if he's not giving you a subway train, does he even really care? Oh wait, hang on. This subway train is full of bombs. Ladies, if he's not giving you a subway train full of bombs, does he really care? V says it took him 10 years to clear the tracks, refurbish the train, and lay some track of his own, which we can approximate for here. Now, as for the contents of that train, whoo boy. Okay, so we got all the makings for a fertilizer bomb, plus homemade plastic explosives, plus some gas cylinders for extra oomph. Oy vey. Okay, let's calculate the car. We've got fertilizer, fuel, solid blocks of plastic explosives, ratchet straps, looks like 4 per pallet, cables, electronics, timers, triggers. Okay, so that's not terrible. But multiply that by 7, because there's 7 cars total, and, well, you know, it's still cheaper than the costumes. I don't know how we're gonna afford this one, boss. I gotta be real with you. Like, I think we might need to pull a second mortgage on the secret lair. And in this economy, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. V gives Evie the keys to the party. Says that what he has to do next is for him, but what she chooses to do next is for her because, well...
Because this world, the world that I'm a part of and that I helped shape, will end tonight. And tomorrow a different world will begin that different people will shape. And this choice belongs to them.
V leaves to face his fate. Evie breaks the last barrier of separation and kisses him, but it's too late. He's chosen another. Ah, gross, it's Pete! Ah, too many fingers, Pete! Oh, but Pete brought a surprise. Sutler! Ha ha! Kudos to John Hurt's acting here. Absolutely stellar. Oh, snap, they capped him. Wow. Bye, Sutler, bitch-ass dictator. Oh, they're shooting V. Ooh. The movie ends. V slumps into... No, wait. He's okay! Ha ha! Ooh, he's pissed. V tosses knives like he's in a Wachowski movie and slaughters everyone, making his way to creepy Petey Creedy, who looks primed to meet the hangman's hangnail. Are we done with the hand puns yet? Are we done? I think we're done. Pete begs to know why V won't die, and V admits he's not immortal. He's an idea.
Beneath this mask there is an idea, Mr. Creedy. And ideas are bulletproof.
Ugh. Bro, that is so sick. Oh man, if only the world were here to see this. Oh, where is everyone? Guys? Chaps? Well, anyway, V removes his lead chestplate, which I'm going to assume is an important historical artifact he stole because he's like that, and stumbles back to Evie. He's not doing too great.
I don't want you to die.
That's the most beautiful thing you could have ever given me.
Above ground, V's clones have arrived at Trafalgar Square. An army of V begins to surround Parliament, awaiting the final moment when, oh my God, it's Eric! He solved it! He figured it out! Gold star for Eric! He tells Evie to stop, but she's come too far. This country has come too far. It's all gone wrong. Above, the army stands down to let people pass with no word from command. The protesters march silently through in unison, united in the belief that what they need most, more than ever, is change. Big Ben strikes midnight.
It's time. Do you like music, Mr. Finch?
V's big old pickup truck rattles toward Parliament, his music swelling through the crowd. The explosion set off, and that's definitely more primed explosives in the building because bombs don't work like that. So we charge for those extra bits. Yeah, not so expensive when you cut out the plastic explosives. The concussions swell up the tower. Yeah, we'll need to include that in there. Blowing out the face of Big Ben into the night. Together, the crowd unmasks to bask in revolutionary glory, revealing themselves to be ordinary citizens, friends and family lost, lovers reunited. Finally, fireworks erupt, and the night air is filled with V's symbol. I call this final act virtuous endurance, necessary democracy. Eternal truth triumphs at last, or Vendetta. So, how did V fare? Yes, he blew up Parliament, and yes, the ending of the movie always makes me cry, always, but what of his finances? Did his revolution make sense? Or was it pounds of wasted rubies? Let's find out. In total, V spent approximately 30,762,980 pounds sterling and 2 pence, or 40,500,493.39 in 2025 on hats, wigs, bombs, more hats, more wigs, more bombs, and nearly 24 mustaches. Adjusting for inflation, that's the exact same number because the movie takes place in 2025, and so do I, currently. V's most expensive plot was undeniably Vendetta, where he spent 30,743,145 pounds and 85 pence on everything listed above, really. In freedom dollars, that's $40,473,880.07. V's cheapest plot was virus or vitriol, since all he needed to do there was drop off a rose and inject some poison. No sexy costumes required, but undress was optional. Of course, now for the big question, can V foot the bill? Well, let's talk about that by discussing something that doesn't come up too often for most people during tax season. Assets! V's assets, as laid out to Evie in his final moments, include a train and a lot of bombs, yes, but also his shadow gallery full of priceless art. Only it's not exactly priceless, is it? I mean, everything has a price. Just look at the recent theft from the Louvre. Priceless jewelry? Not to the right buyer. The first time we see V's shadow gallery, among his many paintings on display, is this, the Arnolfini portrait by Jan van Eyck, painted in 1434 and currently residing at the National Gallery, London. It is a stunning piece by a master artist, purchased for £600 for the National Gallery in 1842. Its value today could be somewhere in the realm of tens of thousands of dollars at least. Now, if V has had access to the National Gallery archives and has been sneaking away art and artifacts deemed naughty by the current government, he could be looking at quite a happy nest egg for his revolutionary practices. And this isn't entirely without precedence. When the Bolsheviks overthrew the Romanovs and formed the Soviet Union, much of the Romanov vaults were emptied of their treasures and sold to support the fledgling revolutionary state. Likewise, V could have been selling art stolen by his fascist government to other collectors, private or public. Now, could he have sold over 30 million pounds worth of art? Maybe? I mean, he's had 20 years to get things in order, so I'd argue V's ability to foot the bill is plausible. It's not definitive, but it is definitely plausible. But what do you think? Do you think V spent his money wisely? Or did he fall into the trappings of aesthetics in pursuit of a revolution worth looking at? Let me know down below. I want to give a huge thank you to my wife, Annalise, for editing this video. I recently got to show her this movie last November. No real reason. And I think she loved it. And I know the comic goes deeper into things and it reorganizes some stuff. And the High Chancellor's last name is Susan, which is funny. But it's well worth reading, assuming it hasn't been banned. I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who's joined YouTube memberships and Patreon. Your support means we get to do this for you as often as the copyright gods will it. It's not an ideal schedule, which is why we're branching out into other territories, covering games, exploring legal ramifications, or storyboarding early drafts of scripts for movies. There's a lot ahead, and I'm always excited to grow this channel. It's been 2 years of getting to do this, and to see that there's over 50,000 of us is just incredible. Extra special shout out to members of the Feet tier. No feet pics with this tier, but you do get to hear me shout out your internet name for all to hear. I have no idea what video is coming out next, but you better believe that we had fun making it. Thank you so much, and remember, I'm here to make stuff if you're here to watch.